guys, welcome back to a brand new episode of Look Who's Talking podcast. This is actually the first episode that you guys will see in the year of 2025. Man, God is amazing, y'all. We made it to 2025. But just want to say welcome back. This is a podcast. This is a platform created for your voice to be heard while having hard conversations intended to spread love, encourage healing, and embrace vulnerability. I am Onicia, your host. I just want to say thank you so much for sticking it out with me. If you are new here, do me a favor. Click that button right now and become a subscriber so you could be tuned in into the conversations. Y'all know I always say it takes two people to have a conversation. I can't have a conversation if y'all not having a conversation with me. Yeah, so do that for me. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. On today's episode, we're going to just pretty much talk about a recap of 2024 and what was that like for me and what is my goals, my visions, my plans for 2025. I know I had took a holiday break on you guys, but yeah, I wanted to just enjoy the holidays with my family. Christmas was like a real big thing in my family, so I really just kind of wanted to focus on the holidays and enjoy those moments with my family. I'm glad to be back. We back 2025. All new everything. I'm just so excited. I'm excited to see what it is that God is about to do for me in this year. I was like, what we want to talk about? So I was like, okay, you know what? It's a good thing. We're just going to talk about a recap of 2024. And so I was trying to define what 2024 was to me. Like, what did they look like for me? What was that year like for me? Because oftentimes I see a lot of people when they're always talking about the year and they're like, oh, I'm just so ready for the new year. I'm just so ready for this year to be over with. This was a rough year for me, or this was one of my hardest years for me, you know, so forth and so on. And I want to just say thank God that I can say 2024 was not a hard year for me. It was not a rough year for me. However, it was a year of me rediscovering myself. I will say 2024 was kind of like a me, myself, and I year. I just had to kind of rediscover my purpose, what it is that I wanted to do in life, you know, just getting to know me, loving on me, pouring into me. I can honestly say that I did the year of 2024 by myself. Like, of course, I had family and I had friends that showed up when they needed to, but it was definitely a year that I did by myself. I can remember when I graduated high school, my plans were after high school, I always wanted to act and I wanted to do modeling. And so for those of you that don't know, I actually went to a fashion institute in San Francisco, California after high school or whatever. And that didn't work. Ended up relocating back home. And I really felt like my life was over. That was probably like one of the worst times for me when I had to come back home. And so, you know, in me transitioning, coming back home, like it was really, really hard for me just trying to like find a job, trying to find a career path, trying to see what it was that I wanted to do with myself. Like I did not know. And I want to say I came back home probably in like 15, maybe 16, but literally from like 16 until 2024, it was just really just like me trying to figure out life for myself, what it was that I wanted to do, what was my purpose in life, what career path I wanted to go down. And so those times, yeah, they was definitely some challenging times for me doing the transition, but it wasn't until 2024 that I rediscovered myself. Like I rediscovered Onicia and what it was and what my passion was. And so in the year of 2024, I grew closer to God. Y'all know I always tell you, like I always had an idea of who God was. I knew who he was, but I never had my own personal relationship with him. And so I do believe that sometimes God will isolate you for a season just so you can draw closer to him, so you can learn more about him, so you can love on him more, just so you can know yourself more. And so I really just feel like that's what 2024 was for me. Like I was just figuring out Onicia, what it was. And I accomplished a lot of great things in 2024 that I'm so excited about. I finished aesthetic school to become a licensed esthetician. I'm so excited about that. And so in the year of 2025, this year, I am definitely going to be going into that full time, just pursuing and investing in that. I became more consistent with my podcast because I actually started Look Who's Talking podcast, I think, was it 23 or was it 22? I can't remember. I think it was 23, but I was not consistent with it. And so remember I said in the year 2024, I wanted to be more consistent. 2024 was the year of consistency for me. So I definitely became more consistent with my podcast. That was something that I rediscovered. I found a love for this. When I first walked into it, it was more so of I wanted to just kind of do it just to have pointless conversations and just to talk. But as I started to doing it more, more, as I started to grow, my walk with Christ started to grow, my love for Jesus started to grow, it became more meaningful for me. It became more purposeful. So I'm like, now I wanted to have conversations with a purpose and a plan to motivate people, to love on people. So I definitely grew a love for that. And I grew a love for aesthetics because it was just like all things beauty, cosmetics, facial, makeup, nails, skin. Like those are things that I love. When people see me, it's like I love those things. And so I was excited about that. And I really did take in the year of 2024. Dating wise, in the year of 2024, I was not entertaining nobody. Like when I tell people that, they be like, it's hard to believe, but y'all, it's really not. Like I literally took that time to learn about me, like the things that I wanted in a relationship, the things that I didn't want. I literally did like a deep reevaluation of myself to see, okay, Onicia, what are your flaws? What is it that you need to work on? Like I really did some growing and some maturing in the year of 2024. And I'm just so excited about that. So I can definitely say that the year of 2024 it was my rediscovery year. Like I was just rediscovering me, what I was going on, what I had going on. So I'm excited. So walking into 2025, I'm just believing God that this will be a year of answered prayers. The prayers that I have prayed, He will answer those prayers in this year. I do believe that this will be my year of fulfilled promises. Everything that God has promised me, I am going to walk into it in the year of 2025. I'm just thanking God in advance for the miracles that He's about to perform, for the blessings that I'm about to receive. I'm just excited. I used to be one of the people who be like, when people like, well, what's your vision? Or, let's do a vision board and what's your goals and what's your plans for the new year. I used to be one that's like, I ain't really got time for that. I'm just going to go with the flow. However the year, we just going to let it year. That real life used to be my mentality. But as I got older, I'm like, okay, you kind of got to have a focus. You kind of got to have a vision of what it is that you want to do. So again, in 2025, I am definitely going to just pour into Look Who's Talking podcast and aesthetics. I'm excited. And so I just do believe God for great things, all new things, just greater in the year of 2025. I thank Him for it in advance. And I really used to feel like that because I used to be like, you know how people say, like, you want to make God laugh, tell Him your plans. Like, that really used to be my mindset of like, I could plan how I want my year to go. But, if it's not according to God's will, it's not going to happen anyway, right? And so now when I pray prayers, I just be like, well, Lord, I want this. If it lines up with your will, if it goes according to your will, I want this for myself. So I definitely, I have been writing it down, writing my vision down of what it is that I want God to do. And I have been praying over it. And I do believe that if it lines up according to His will, 2025 gonna be a real great year for me. And so even in just like my alone time, and like I told y'all, like rediscovering myself, figuring me out, I will say the year of 2024, it did bring me some great things at the end of the year. It brought me some really great things. But so I'll tell you guys more about it. And so I'm just excited. I'm excited to see like that flourish. I'm excited to see that evolve and what that's going to turn to. Like, I'm really just so excited about 2025. Yeah. What's up, Dre? The first thing I did was I just started to work on my relationship with God, because I feel like, in all things, like, we need God. Period. Point blank, He's the foundation. He's the rock on which I stand. So I really focused, and I really just zoned in on my relationship with God. I did a lot of meditating, a lot of praying. I was really reading the Bible, in the Bible. And then, like you said, I was talking to people who I felt like who could pour into me. So that was my first lady. That was Marcus at times. I went to my sisters, my brothers at times. I had real life conversations, because I was the type of person to where I was like, yeah, I ain't the problem, you the problem. But then it's like everybody started to tell me I was the problem. It was like everybody had the same exact reason in regards to me and where I was in error in. And so I was like, okay, Onisa, now you got to do the work, because everybody not going to be saying this about you for nothing. And so I prayed, and one of my prayers was like, well, Lord, I'm ready to start dating. I'm ready to get back out there. I was like, when I'm ready to get back out there, you're ready for me to get back out there. But you guys know, when I had the conversation with my first lady, she definitely told me it was just I had to work on letting my guards down, work on being feminine, work on being safe, work on allowing a guy to be a guy, die and things like that. And so it was just more so for me, just like really just sitting down, doing the work, like telling myself, okay, this time when you date, you need to work on this. You need to do this. Like this time, and y'all know I was one, I ain't want no new friends. I was like, no new friends. I'm cool with who I got. And so even like the year of 2024, it has brought me 2 new friends, and I love them to death, Khadijah and Tasia. But like I had to open myself up for that. I had to be willing for that, because I'm like, in adulthood, yeah, it's okay to have you know, we got our friends who we bang with and we've been rocking with for like 10 and 15 years, but sometimes God will put new people in your life, and that's okay. And so it was just more so about me when I'm saying like, oh, I want to rediscover myself, I want to work on me. It was more so of like, okay, God, I want this for me if you want this for me. It was just me like surrendering that control to him of like, okay, Lord, like direct my path. If it's for me, like let it work out. Like it was just more so of things like that. And I'm telling y'all, I just put God first, and everything else fell in line. Like it's really not it was really just me putting God first, and everything else in my life fell in line. Everything else started to make sense to where it was like, even when things did get a little, because let me say this, I'm not going to say like trials didn't come, but it was like, even when those trials came, even when things did get a little rocky for me, like I was able to just give it to God, to surrender that to God and be like, all right, now God, you got to handle this. I can't really do it, or it's too much, like handle this. Like even on my job, like people don't know, I really do go through a lot on my job, okay? Like I go through a lot. But I realize being working, I just be like, you know what? Lord, I'm going to just turn it over to you. So something that I've just really been doing in the year of 2024 is just releasing those things to God, like just releasing that control, surrendering that control. I'm like, God, handle it. Because at this point, I ain't got it in me. Because if I handle it, you ain't going to like how I'm going to handle it. So it's just really, for me, it's just been working on my relationship with God. And I was just surrendering those things to him. Like here, I was like, okay, literally, like when I was praying these prayers, I was praying them, and I was like, okay, God, I'm praying this prayer, but I'm going to give it to you. And I want you to answer this prayer in your time. And when you feel like I'm ready for it, you'll answer it. When you feel like I'm ready for this, you'll bring this to me. And it's really just been like, yeah, I could say I must be ready, because the Lord's been bringing it to me, you know? So, yeah, that's like really just being, I said, anybody, if you work on your relationship with God, if you focus and you zone in on it, everything else going to make sense. Everything else going to fall in line. And that's just literally, that's just been it for me. That's what I've been doing. Hey, I'm really at peace. I'm really happy with myself. Like I'm really, like I just really been at peace, literally. And I'm really like, ain't nobody gonna disturb that. Like y'all could see the glow. I know y'all see the glow. Yeah, but yeah. Like literally, I can honestly say, and I thank God for that. Like I have no sad story for 2024. I don't have one. I don't. It's just really been finding me, locking in with the Lord, and hey, you know, life, what I be telling y'all, life be life, and but God be God. Like literally, that's really just been my 2024. Like when life was trying to life, God was really God. And so it was like, it was all making sense. It was balancing out. So yeah. What else? Yeah, I'm just happy, you know. I'm just really happy, and I'm just really at peace, and I'm happy. That's all I could say. And so I'm excited for 2025. I really am. I would tell anybody, when you're walking into like a business adventure, or if you're walking into something that it is that you want to do, make sure you're doing it for you. Make sure you're doing it because you want to do it, and not just because the people around you is doing it. Because I know a lot of times we jump into things so often. Oh, it's like, oh, such and such doing it and it's working for them, so I feel like it's going to work for me. I would tell anybody, when you're going into business venture, even if you want to start a podcast or whatever, it's like, make sure you're doing it for you, and make sure you want to do it. Because y'all know I also be saying too, everybody be wanting a mic, but they don't have nothing to say. Yeah, so my thing is that when I first started this podcast, I wanted to do it, right? But I feel like at the moment when I jumped into it, I was like, man, podcasts, they're becoming popular, they're becoming cool. I want to do it. And so when I first went into it, I used to have those pointless conversations that you see about relationships, this, and that. Like, not saying those conversations are pointless, but sometimes people make them pointless, and it be like, don't even worry about it. And so when I first went into it, that was definitely like my mindset. I wanted to have conversations that I seen everybody else having. And so it was like I was so inconsistent with it. I think I was doing them like once a month or probably once every other month. It wasn't like nothing I was consistent with, because I felt like when I was doing it, it was like I was trying to tell other people's story, but I was not telling my own story. I was trying to tell everybody else walks of life, but I wasn't willing to tell myself. So I had to be vulnerable with myself. And I was like, okay, Onicia, if this is something that you really want to do, you're going to have to be open with your viewers. You're going to have to be vulnerable. Like, you got to really want it. And so my thing was that when I had to like come to Jesus meeting with myself of like, if you want to do this, you need to go on a different route. You need to make sure your conversations are conversations of substance. These are things to where you can pour into people. You can motivate people. You can love on people. Like, my love for it grew. And so I would tell anybody to like find your own niche, make sure it's something that you want to do and something that you love. Not saying that sometimes we don't run into burnout, we don't run into frustration, we don't be discouraged, because we do. We experience all of these things. I've experienced all of these things, but then I remembered why I was doing it. And I was doing it why? Again, to motivate people, to encourage healing, to spread love, to embrace vulnerability, to bring awareness to Christ, to just bring awareness to him, to draw people in, more so of millennials my age. And so even in those moments, like me and Dre shot like 4 episodes, couldn't find the sound. This wasn't working, that wasn't working. I used to always tell Dre, like, you know, man, it's good. Like, we not gonna get mad, we not gonna get frustrated. Like, it is what it is. Because I know a lot of times too, the enemy will come and he will try to send things to distract you and to offset you, because why he want to knock you off your A game. And I always tell people, like, the enemy is not gonna come after nothing that he don't find a threat. And so when I got that mindset, I was like, because I'm bringing awareness to Christ, because I'm being vocal about God, because I'm being bold in my walk, I know for a fact the enemy sees this as a threat. So I know there are going to be times when he's going to come and he's going to try to distract me. He's going to try to discourage me. He's going to try to frustrate me, but I never let that get to me. And so that just be my thing. Like, the enemy, he ain't going to attack nothing that he don't see. If he don't feel like it's not a threat, he not going to come. Like, he's not going to come for it. And so my thing was just, I knew the minute that I gave God a yes, I had already knew. Because the minute when you give God a yes, you put the enemy already on assignment. You're a target. It's a target on your back. So you got to just be willing to, hey, stand firm. And that was just my thing. So even in the moments when we did have that, I used to be like, I know this is nobody but the devil trying to get me mad, trying to get me frustrated, but we're not going to even do it. And so something me and Dre started when we first started filming, we would pray before every episode, and we had stopped praying. And it was like literally every episode when we stopped praying before the episode, something happened. And so now we was like, moving forward, we're going to make sure we always open up in a prayer to cancel the assignment of the enemy, to bind, to rebuke anything that he may come and try to bring to be a distraction. Like, we already be on it. So that just be my thing. I'd be like, if it ain't a threat, the enemy not going to come after you. When you know, I always tell people, you know, when you walking in your purpose, when the enemy try you the most, that's when you know you on assignment. Like, you are literally doing what it is that God wants you to do. And so even with my podcast, like it literally be there. Like, I used to get to a point where I used to get so frustrated, because it was like, I started my podcast, right? Yeah, this is transparency. When I started my podcast, nobody was talking about podcasts, right? I'm gonna just be honest. The minute I started it, the minute I started being consistent, it was like people who I knew, people that was around me, started dropping podcasts everywhere. And our real life used to get so frustrated, because I was like, man, people just won't let you do you. People just won't let you be you. Like, people will try to come after anything that you're doing. And then I was just like, nah, the Lord humbled me. And I was just like, no, that's how I know I'm doing it right. And I'm on the right track, because I got so many people trying to mimic what it is that I'm doing. Something like that's how I know I'm on the right track. So now I say, anybody, if you want to start it, go ahead. Go ahead. You can. Just find your niche and do it. So that's why I tell people, like, when you going into stuff for business or anything, if it's something that you love, distractions and all of that is going to come, but you just got to remember why you started. And so my thing be, I started this to bring awareness to Christ, to be to be bold, to be vocal about my white, to spread awareness. So that's always my mindset. So even when the enemy come, I be like, I know why I'm doing it. I'm like, you not finna frustrate me. Like, you not finna, I know why I'm doing it. Literally. Before I filmed this, I had took that break, and I had on, we was really supposed to film this yesterday. But let me tell y'all, I was lazy. I did not want to get up out that bed. And I told myself, I said, oh, the devil is allowing me. So you got to shake this. Tomorrow, you going to film this podcast episode. Like, I was literally laying in my bed telling myself, oh, I rebuke the spirit of laziness. Nah, people got to hear this. Like, you got to keep motivating people. You got to keep pointing to people. I was like, the devil is a lie. You done got too comfortable, but we finna shake this. And I texted Dre and I was like, you know what, Dre? We gonna do it tomorrow, because I seen it. I recognized like this. I was just getting real complacent, real lazy, just didn't want to do it no more. I seen it and I was just like, oh no, the devil is a lie. Girl, you better shake yourself. We finna get back into it. And so we're here. We're here. So that's when I tell y'all, like, when you have those moments, sometimes you gotta just speak life into yourself. You gotta just remind yourself of why you started. And so again, in your moments of frustration, in your moments when you distracted and all that, speak life into your vision. You got to remember, your vision don't work if you don't work it. You got to invest in you. You got to pour into you. So in them weak moments, you know what to do. Get on your face and remind yourself why you doing it, and it's gonna all work out. And I always be telling people, I just be like, I feel like year 2025, this gonna be my year for this podcast. It's like I feel it. I just feel good about the year 2025. Let me tell y'all this. Like, I just feel good about this year. I really do. And I'm excited. And so, yeah, that's kind of pretty much the spiel of what I wanted to talk about. You know, what was 2024 like for me, what I wanted in 2025. And I pray that the year of 2025, I pray that this be your year of answered prayers. This will be your year of miracles, signs, and wonders. I pray that this will be your year of overflowing blessings. I pray that this will be your God did it year. So, yeah, you may have had a rough year in 2024, but I pray that the year of 2025 is going to be sweatless victory for you. Uncommon favor. This gonna be your year of easy. So everything that you went through in 2024, it was just preparing you for 2025, because it is my prayer again that this will be the year for you of fulfilled promises. You're gonna walk into your purpose. You're gonna walk into your calling. You're gonna do whatever it is that God wants you to do, and you're gonna do it with easy grace. I just want you to know that. So that is my prayer for you guys in 2025. It's the year of answer prayers, y'all. We walking into it. We not going to get frustrated. We not going to get distracted. We not going to let the enemy come and try to defeat us and make us feel like God ain't doing what, like we not doing none of that in the year 2025. I just want you, year 2025 is my year of answer prayers. I'm walking into it. Everything that God has promised me, I'm about to obtain it. I'm about to walk into it. It's mine. I can have it because he said I can have it. So we got to remember that in the year 2025. That's what we're doing. So I just want to say thank you guys so much for tuning into this conversation. I'm so excited about next week's episode. I have a guest for you guys, and I'm so excited for her to come and to tell her story and to bring awareness to her story. So I'm so excited. I'm so excited for you guys to see that and to hear that conversation. So do me a favor, like, comment, subscribe, share. Make sure you tune in. Make sure you do the three things. Yeah, why am I stumbling over my words? See, that's what happened when you get lazy. Now I'm stumbling, acting like I don't know what to say. Anyway, y'all know the three things that I want you guys to do is to spread love, encourage healing, and embrace vulnerability. I always tell you guys, thank you so much for sticking it out with me. Thank you so much for riding this wave with me. Remember, it takes two people to have a conversation. I cannot have a conversation if you guys don't listen, if you guys don't talk back. And remember, again, the year of 2025 is about to be the year of answered prayers for all of us. We gonna see it. We gonna witness it. And y'all, when it happened for y'all, I want y'all to hit me up on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok and share your testimony with me. Tell me how God did it for you in the year 2025, because I believe that he is going to do it. So again, thank you guys so much for tuning into this conversation. Make sure, again, you do what? Like, comment, subscribe, share, and tune in. Remember, I am your host, Onicia. I will see you guys on next week's episode. Mwah.